All right, so the next one, we have a question that might come up in the form of how do you typically get status updates? Uh, this is easy, guys. So Daily Scrum, right? Um, Daily Scrum is a meeting where the engineering team and the Scrum Master are getting together every day for about 15 minutes to get a status update to find out what they were working on yesterday, what are they working on today, and essentially, are there any blockers? This is absolutely important for us product managers to have a pulse on. It's not like we're required, but I personally like to always attend my daily scrums because in case there's any questions, there's any issues, problems, blockers, I want to be able to help the Scrum Master very quickly get these developers unblocked. And that's the reason why Daily Scrum is really important for us product managers. And just kind of like as a really quick aside, um, what happens when developers are not blocked, when they continue to be blocked, right? You might lose 1, 2, 3, 4 days of no development. And developers, they're not necessarily going to, make it their priority. If they let you know, they rang the bell and they let the team know, the Scrum Master and the product owner, hey, we have a question on the API call that we have to make because the API call that the backend team has built for us, we don't know if it supports XYZ, data parameters, for example, right? Let's say this is the question, right? And it's a really basic question, but they might ask it and they'll say, hey, we're blocked in development. You don't want 1 day to go by. That's something that you could follow up with very quickly. You could get an ad hoc meeting together that day, right? 9 o'clock you find out, 11 o'clock you have an ad hoc meeting, and you quickly get the developers together and you basically help them get unblocked. And something that you want to really underscore is that as a product manager, right, these are your ideas, right? This is your baby. This is your user stories, right? You have a bigger onus. You have a bigger ownership. It means more to you than the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is just doing their job. They might email another group to help unblock and get a meeting set up on Wednesday or 3 days later. But what if you're able to very quickly get the developers together in 2 hours and just get the answers that you need, right? Sometimes the developers have a question for you and sometimes they'll put it in a comment. Maybe you missed it in Jira, for example, or they have a question comes up in a discussion and the Scrum Master might say, well, okay, we'll reach out to the product manager and get back to you tomorrow. Well, if you're there at Daily Scrum, you know what they're looking for and you could very, very quickly follow up. So Daily Scrum is very, very pertinent and imperative for us product managers to help keep the process moving and to make sure that we have a pulse on what's happening, right? If we're finding out that, they finished all their work on time, we want to be able to have user stories that are prioritized, ready to go at the top of the backlog that you could pull into the sprint. Also, what if you find out that they can't work on XYZ story because of whatever reason, they need to pull it out? Well, you should have another user story that's ready to replace it. What if QA is finding bugs or there's questions about the user story, but particular acceptance criteria? All of these things could sometimes come up in Daily Scrum, right? When they're giving their status updates. So that's why it's important, even though it's not technically a meeting that we have to go to, it's something that we want to go to, right? And that is Daily Scrum.